Frankly, the encore I couldn't care less about. Like Aces High, Fear of the Dark, Wasted Years.
As soon as I saw that encore, I was like, "Yep, I'll be pissing off before then." It was fucking great. Honestly, like considering how many times that we've seen them, you'd think that would be fatigue would start to set in at this point. But
Mm.
no, because like I was saying before, when we were sort of previewing the gig, like I kind of see Iron Maiden gigs as like potentially could be their last one every time, just because of the obviously they're getting on a little bit. Nico's just retired. You know they've gone through some health scares in the last few years, so you just never know. But the way that they like just absolutely killed it last Saturday, the energy they seem to be almost revitalized in a way. Not that they weren't with Nico, but I think I don't know. Simon Dawson seems to have given them a bit more like that, like they're restarting. Do you know what I mean?
They really, really looked like they were enjoying themselves on stage.
Yeah, like all of them were smart. Even Steve, do you know what I mean? And he's normally like serious, like we got to do this well, but even he was overcome with emotion for obvious reasons. You know, being in his hometown, and you know, at the end of the day, Maiden's his baby, and you know, to finally have his dream realised of playing at his club's ground. You know what I mean? I think it came full circle for him. And yeah, and Bruce is just as maniacal as ever when it comes to the energy that he's got. And yeah, it's definitely up there. I was sort of umming and ahhing about whether to put it, but I think you know the day, the atmosphere, just the energy of the show, and the significance of it puts it up really high for me. What about you?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you just said. I'm not entirely sure where I would put it in my ranking of, my favorite to least favorite Iron Maiden show. I'll definitely say this, it's definitely up there.
Mm.
And I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, it's the best time I've seen Iron Maiden live in an outdoor setting.
Yeah, yeah,
I've seen them at Twickenham Rugby Ground. I've seen them at loads of festivals, and I've always felt like they really lacked certainly good sound outdoors. And for the most part, the sound in this set wasn't really an issue at all. It was loud, it was clear, you could pretty
yeah,
much hear everything, and there was just so much energy. Dave Murray in particular was a real standout for me at this show.
yeah,
Just absolutely just such an incredible guitar player. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. Any reservations I had going into the show didn't come to fruition. I mean, we can go when we break it down a little bit more. I'll pick out, there's some things I can certainly nitpick about, but overall, just a phenomenal show. It was as close to a 10 out of 10 as you can get.
yeah.
But why don't we get right into it now? So the set list, how did you feel the set list translated live? Because for those who haven't watched our preview episode in the previous podcast, although we liked the set list, the songs that they picked, we were a little bit ugh in regards to the encore, to the point we were even considering bailing after Iron Maiden, which
Yeah,
I'm very glad we didn't, by the way.
that, yeah, yeah. No,
But
100%. I think I think the first sign that oh maybe we should stick around because it was mainly okay partly to do with the sort of reservations about the song, you know, finishing with Wasted Years again. Okay, here we go again, and then you know I was excited for it, and my excitement level was ramped up when we got into the stadium, and then man, when Doctor played, it was just like oh yeah, okay.
it's just like a switch goes off.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then you had the Ides of March with the intro tape going through like their old stomping grounds of East London. You know, you see Steve's house with the West Ham flag and all that, all while the Ides of March are playing. And like you said on Messenger the other day, Tom, it just really gets you pumped that instrumental. And yeah, and then I thought the way Simon introduced Murders in the Room, or it seems to from the clips I've seen before the gig, it was getting better and better. And then it was just like it went in the blink of an eye, and then they came out all guns blazing. And then yeah, it just the sound seemed to get better and better as the show went on. I thought. So yeah, and I think what I said before from the last podcast was that I was really looking forward to seeing Front of the Opera with good sound. and thankfully they delivered, and it was one of my favourite songs of the entire night. So yeah, and it was just such a special day, and I liked pretty much every song. You know, there wasn't like even 2 minutes to midnight, which I know we kind of moaned about, was seemed to really get, that was like a proper crowd barnstorm at that one. You know, yeah, Ryman H Mariner for me, it was a special song. Got a bit emotional halfway through, for reasons I won't go into now, but you know why. And then Seventh Son, my God, just I actually remember your fact where as soon as that started playing, you just turned around to me and went, "Oh, oh," and yeah, and then we can
I
talk
was
about,
very excited.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought the set list translated incredibly well to live. Next time I moan about Iron Maiden selecting a set list, I mean, it's one thing listening to it on like in your headphones or whatever, you know, however you choose to listen to it, like on Spotify. But when you're actually there and you watch it play out live, it sort of clicks with you and it's like, okay, I get it now. I get why they've put this song there and that song there.
yeah,
The standout songs for me, there were quite a few of them, but the ones that I still am thinking about to this day are Power Slave. I thought that sounded
oh,
phenomenal live.
yeah,
They pretty much got the sound in order by then.
yeah,
So when that intro hit and Simon Dawson did the little tom drum intro, oh, it was just perfect. And that
yeah,
guitar solo section, even my wife who came with me, you know, she even turned around during the guitar solo part and was like, wow, this just sounds amazing.
yeah,
And I was like, well, it should do because it's one of their best songs.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Yeah. Yeah, Rime of the Ancient Mariner sounded great,
yeah.
really, really good. Um, it went by so quickly as well. It's one of their longest songs, and it's like blinking, you
Yeah.
miss it.
You got to like the ship creaking before the solo section. It was like, oh shit, we're here already. Wow.
Yeah. Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, I think after seeing it live, like you said, with proper sound, I mean, I've always said for the longest time, Infinite Dreams was my favorite Iron Maiden song. I think that's now been knocked off the top spot by Seventh Son. I just thought I was almost in tears live. I just absolutely love, love, love that song. It's
Yeah,
just a perfect song. I just never ever get bored of listening to it. And when I finally got to see it live, how it was meant to be heard,
yeah,
I just loved it. And a song that I often moan about having to hear live because I've heard it so many times, but I thought it just sounded phenomenal this time around was Fear of the Dark. It just
yeah,
sounded incredible.
yeah,
And the way it was placed in the encore, looking with the benefit of hindsight, was like a stroke of genius.
yeah,
It just kept like that, you know, the crowd were in the palm of their hand. And of course, Hallowed Be Thy Name is always great to hear live as well. So
yeah,
those were the songs that stood out for me. I even really ended up enjoying Wasted Years as the final song.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know why, I just really enjoyed it this time around.
Just a feel
And
good, like it's a feel good song to
yeah,
lead with. Do you know what I mean? I guess it's. I get it now why they closed with it. Especially the last two tours, they've closed with it, and obviously we had our reservations before, but by that point you're just like on a high, and you're like, yeah, yeah, this is fine, this is great.
yeah. The only song that didn't quite stick the landing for me was The Clairvoyant. Mainly because, um, first of all, I don't think the crowd were, at least in the section we were in, I don't think they were too into it because it came after Phantom of the Opera. Then after that came, I believe, The Number of the Beast. So it was sandwiched between two big songs.
Yeah,
And when Steve started that bass riff, that bass intro,
yeah,
um, I mean, there was I wouldn't say there was a deafening silence, but there was definitely a lot of people like, what song's this? You
yeah,
know, so it was the only song that kind of fell flat. And, you know, I know I want to Die With Your Boots On and all these other songs on my wish list, but if there was one mistake they made, I think it was adding the clairvoyant to the set instead of something like Infinite Dreams. Even though I absolutely love the song, it was
yeah.
the one song that sort of fell a little bit flat on the night for me, and I think for almost everybody else.
Its placement didn't help it. I don't think, like you said, being between like those iconic songs before and afterwards. So yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed it. I'm trying to think if there's any songs that I can't like that I've forgotten that they played, but no, I think every song had its place. I think
What did you think of the overall production, like the stage show? And
going into it again, you've seen the clips of like the LED background, and I thought that was done really well. Better on some songs than others. Like I think they sort of tell like a whole. It's like watching Pirates of the Caribbean when you during Rime of the Ancient Mariner. But again, that was done really well. Some people saying it was a bit distracting for them. I didn't really find that because I
No,
felt
I didn't get that at all.
no, and yeah, some of the like the highlights, like the seventh sun backdrop, where you see like the pieces of spine coming, like dropping down, and the lights coming over. I thought it was a great touch, and you know, as from their early stuff, well, early stuff, like the Killer stuff that they did. You know, it was a nice touch having like in black and white, and you could see like them on the screen in black and white as well. I thought that was cool. Yeah, I thought it was really good. Obviously, I'm gonna miss the old school, you know, backdrop prop Eddie, and so that was probably my only nitpick. That it was just a massive Eddie on the screen. But
That's as far as I'm concerned, that's not a nitpick. I agree with you. I thought the LED screens worked really well. It gave them a little bit more freedom to sort
yeah,
of do what they want in the background with moving images and whatnot. Like you, I didn't find it that distracting.
yeah,
Without the drapes, the show looks a little less theatrical
yeah,
because, you know, when you go see Iron Maiden live, it always felt like you were going to the theater because they
yeah,
had like these big backdrops, these massive drapes that they would
big,
pull in and out.
yeah,
Yeah, but overall, I thought it looked great. And, you know, having the two different walkout Eddies was always great to see as well. He came out during Killers and I think the Trooper,
Trooper,
if memory serves me correctly. Yeah.
yeah,
The only thing that I really didn't like was the big digital Eddie that appeared during Iron Maiden.
yeah, wasn't a
It that didn't work for me at all. They tried to make it look three-dimensional with the way his hands would appear and whatnot. I much rather my Eddie be a great big blown up backdrop, you know, as opposed to, you know, something that's been physically made, as opposed to just having him appear on a digital screen because it wasn't a very long loop either. He was like on a 10-second loop. And that was the one time. Yeah, yeah. That was the one time I felt really distracted by the screens.
I find it interesting how the one song where you didn't really have any kind of animation was during the Trooper. It was just the old school like Trooper logo that we all know and love. There was no messing around with that one. But
Well, I think Maiden are smart enough to know that you can't change that. You have to keep that more or less intact
yeah,
because that's one of the most iconic Eddies, the Trooper Eddie.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I thought it worked really well for what they were trying to do. And like you say, it gives them more freedom. So you know, if they, not that they ever would, but if they needed to change a song in the set list, they can just get, you know, one of their, you know, engineers to, you know, whip up something that's quite pertinent to that song that they need to change it to. So yeah, I thought it was, you know, they're kind of trying to move with the times a little bit. I know Bruce has gone on and said, no, we're not using AI and all that. I'm like, I'm sure there's a bit of AI somewhere in there. Do you know what I mean?
There may have been. There may
Yeah,
have been. One thing I also quite liked in the guitar department, particularly from Dave and especially Adrian Smith, the guitars that they decided to bring out on tour with them.
yeah,
So Dave Murray used a black and white Strat, somewhat reminiscent to the one he pretty much used since he joined Maiden right up until, I want to say, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son,
yeah.
that classic David Gilmour-esque Strat. I mean, it was a brand new one, but it was a
Mm.
custom shot one. But it looked, whether that was a conscious decision of him or it was just a coincidence, I don't know. But Adrian Smith, he bought out his old Ibanez Destroyer, which he can be
Yeah.
seen using on the Number of the Beast tour and I believe the Peace of Mind tour. He bought his Lado guitar out of retirement that you see him using on the Power Slave tour. And it sounded great. It
Oh, I really
sounded
did.
really, really good. I was wondering at one point, you know, I know Steve loves his West Ham bass, and I know that's the old blue bass, etc. But part of me was kind of hoping, do you reckon, like, just for the first three or four songs, you know, where they played songs just from the first two albums, he'd bring out like sort of like a replica of his blue bass out or something like that. How did you think Simon Dawson did?
It's a weird one. I thought I was going to be more kind of apprehensive of Nico not being there. Did you know what I mean? I thought it was going to be weirder, but then as soon as they started playing, not that I forgot about Nico, but I just treated it as, oh, this is Iron Maiden. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think, oh, it's Iron Maiden with a session drummer. I
Mm.
thought he did everything well. I think he sounded well. I think obviously drum kit size aside, I think he played everything that he
But it
needed.
sounded huge.
It sounded massive, yeah. Yeah, I thought he was good. I didn't notice any glaring errors, but maybe some of the footage might show that from afterwards. I don't know, but I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you on Simon Dawson. There wasn't anything he did or didn't do that stood out to me. He just did a very good job at
Yeah, of
just playing the songs, keeping the tempo, the rhythm going. He will never be able to replace Nico. Nico was such an integral part of
course. Yeah,
Maiden's sound, especially live. But I think he did a very serviceable job. I think he did a great job, even.
yeah. Some songs felt a bit slow compared to what they should be, but I think it was a solid, consistent pace the whole way through. And yeah, the sound was great, and it seemed like he was enjoying himself. It'll be interesting to see, like, because they did say, well, Nico himself said he'll still be part of the Maiden family. They just won't be doing any live shows. It'd be interesting to see whether he still records, if they do record a final album, whether he records it, whether Simon records it, because it's like there's no point recording an album if you can't play it live. So part of me thinks maybe Simon Dawson will record it on it as well.
Yeah, I think Maiden will do one more album. I
Yeah,
think it will be the next album will be their last album.
yeah,
And yeah, that is the big question. Will Nico be drumming on it? Will he drum the entire album, half of it, guest appearance, or
yeah,
will they get Simon Dawson to do it? I just want to give a special shout out to the crowd.
yeah,
As I mentioned earlier, this place was packed.
yeah,
It was heaving. I don't think I saw a single empty seat in the entire stadium outside of the ones that were tarped off.
yeah,
The crowd in our immediate vicinity, some of the coolest people I have ever had the pleasure of meeting at any gig I've been to, not just Maiden, any gig. There were families there were children there was an older generation there, there were people in their 30s like me and you who were there, and everybody just got on very well with each other. Everybody was respectful, no misbehaving, nobody who was completely piss out of their head and just started ruining it for everybody.
yeah,
We later went into a mosh pit, which was something we've never done at an Iron Maiden gig before,
yeah,
and it was probably the politest mosh pit I've ever been a part of.
yeah. It was a very friendly one, wasn't it? It was just like how mosh pit should be. Like if we're going
Mm.
back to like the old school mentality, if anyone fell down, I think one or two people fell down, but literally everyone just crowded around them and pulled them up. I remember like headbutting someone by accident, and then like we both going, "Oh, you all right, mate? Yeah, sorry." He goes, "Yeah, yeah, it's fine." So it's like, "Oh, you know what I mean?" So, yeah, and it was just so much fun, and like because at first I think your brother went in, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even realize he was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm going." And then yeah, when halfway through 85, then we were like, "Sod it, let's go."
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Probably helped I was pretty pissed by then.
yeah, Piston like just on a high of the gig though, like so far, and yeah, I was because the next day I was like, why is the side of my face aching and my knee? And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I went into the pit, didn't I? I haven't done that in about 10 years.
Yeah, my foot, my knee, and my lower back were killing me.
Yeah,
And I remember like back in the day when me and you used to go into pits at like Testament or whichever band we'd see, you'd like jump on I'd give you like
yeah,
a piggyback
yeah,
and we'd go in there charging like a raging bull. I'm certainly glad we didn't do that this time.
yeah. Well, not well, but because I've put on probably quite a lot of weight since then, and B, it's just yeah, like I said on Messenger, that would have been the end of the gig because we probably would have just like fallen on flat on our asses. and
Yeah,
then
I'm not as strong as I used to be.
it would have taken about an hour just to get back up again. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think that added to the experience as well. Just the crowd were great, the friendliness, because they're a generational band. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit different with some other bands where it's like, right, angry metalhead is angry. Do you know what I mean? This was just such a great special night to be a part of, and like I said before, there's a special occasion for them. 50 years in their well, Steve particularly in his home, like literally down the road from where he grew up. So yeah, I think there was definitely a special atmosphere that night, and seeing some of like the pictures they released afterwards, and even then we're like, that's something we'll remember for an eternity. That was special London. It was like, yeah, it really was.
I
Just
think that's their biggest show they've ever done in, I think, the UK.
yeah, yeah. It's outside of like
Outside of festivals, yeah.
yeah, it's the biggest like headline show that they've done. So yeah, so that was like being a part of history, you know. So that just adds to the magic of that night.
You know, this is my 11th and your 10th time seeing Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
Where does this rank?
it's got to be all the way up there for me. I don't know. I'm torn between number one, number two for me because I always have a soft spot for that first time at Earls Court when they played A Matter of Life and Death. Again, because of just how surprisingly good it was after thinking, no, it's going to be rubbish because they're not playing like you're only playing
We,
five. Six.
we, it may have helped that we went into that gig with dramatically low
Yeah,
expectations.
yeah, exactly. And the fact that like, that venue's not there anymore, so there's a little bit of kind of missing history from that. Legacy of the Beast, that was such a great gig as well at the O2. You know, as far as set list go, it might be their best in terms of just purely the set list. And then, you know, Future Past Tour, which only seemed like last week. You know what I mean? They've moved from that to this quite quickly, I think. And that was amazing as well, seeing Alexander the Great for the first time ever, seeing some of the songs from Senjutsu that I would say are the best songs from that album for me. And so that was great. And the sound that night was fucking great. But yeah, I put this one just because of all the reasons I've said, not just because of how the gig was, just everything else. I put it just like number one's here, but number two is so Earls Court is here, and then for me it's that gig, but it's really close.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of in line with you. I think my favorite time I've seen Iron Maiden was probably the Legacy of the Beast tour back in 2018, I want to say.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Um, that show was just something special. Everything, the stars just completely aligned for that gig.
yeah,
So that might be my number one. This gig, I mean, seeing them at Brixton was was
yeah.
something really special.
Oh,
The only problem with Brixton is that I saw them play that set list literally 2 weeks prior at Download. They
yeah,
played the exact same set list.
yeah,
So it sort of gets bumped off. It sort of gets knocked down lower on the set list, no, lower on the pecking order. But just a phenomenal show to see Iron Maiden in Brixton.
yeah,
Um, this gig it's either my number two or number three.
yeah. That's fair.
It's sort of fighting because I love them on the Future Past tour.
That
I
was.
mean, I left that gig just like, I mean, they're just like the best band ever.
Yeah, yeah. How can they keep getting better in their 60s?
Yeah, probably my third favorite because the Future Past tour they had, and it's just for this one reason, the sound was perfect from
Oh
start
yeah,
to
it was.
finish.
Yeah, it really.
The Run for Your Life set took them a few songs to get the sound in order, and sound is a really big deal for me. I think it is for most people, but for me, I mean, when we saw them on the Made in England tour at Download 2011, I want to say,
It was. Yeah, something like
whenever it was,
yeah.
the set list was outstanding. But because the sound was atrocious, I just couldn't get into it. It's one of the worst gigs I've ever been to, and it's all down to the sound.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's either second or third, probably third.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair, man. Yeah, again, it's hard not to rank it as high as it is because of what we just talked about.
And there you have it. That's the end of the rather short podcast this time around.
Oh,
If anybody else watching this video was fortunate enough to be at that London show, let us know in the comments section. Let us know your thoughts, what you liked, what you didn't like. Do you think this will be Maiden's last show, etc., etc.? Sean, anything else you want to say?
just thanks again for watching and for comments and liking and yeah, any suggestions, as I say, for future content is always welcome. And yeah, long live Iron Maiden.
Long live Iron Maiden, and long live anyone who likes and subscribes to the channel.
What are you saying, Tom?
What I'm saying, Sean, is everybody have a great day and go and see Iron Maiden live.
Absolutely, and I don't have an except for that. Just go and see him live because you never know.
Exactly. Take care, everyone.
See ya.